We had another weird day. 10 games in the NBA. Weird lineups, weird benchings, strange starters, big performances. Of course, it's another Kel'el Ware day. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and Taco Bill is better than Taco Bell. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We're free. We're available on all platforms, and we are part of the number one sports podcast network, the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for helping push us to number one and helping me drive towards 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, because I want a play button. I just want a play button. It's going to be sick. I'll breathe on it, and we'll see it there, and I'll rub it off, and I'll see my reflection in the button. Just a lifelong dream for the last year. But still, that's close enough. Do it. Let's do it. It is a relatively busy day with 10 games on in the league, so let's get into just one little bit of news. I don't even know why I bothered creating like a little graphic for this bit of news, but I guess it is important because we've only got 2 games on tomorrow, but we did get the news that Deandre Ayton has been ruled out. The snowman has melted, and that means that you're going to be looking at Jackson Hayes as a better streaming option. Now, maybe that means that Maxi Kleber gets the backup minutes, maybe it's Jared Vanderbilt back into the rotation, maybe it's more small ball with more minutes for Smart, Vincent, and yeah, you know who it is. The M-Pizza. Yeah, maybe. But Hayes is still a priority streamer. Because again, we've only got 6 teams playing, and the starting center might play 25 minutes. That's pretty useful to know. I don't know if there's anything serious going on here with Ayton and the severity of his knee injury. But for now, it just opens up the possibility that we can use Hayes as a stream guy. Let's talk waiver trends. Who's been added and who's been dropped over the last 48 hours. The most 5 added players. Number 1 is Jordan Goodwin. He's starting for the Suns. Makes sense out of back-to-back. Number 2, Jalen Tyson. The Cavs have got a million guys out. Tyson is a very good player. We'll talk about him a little bit later. Makes sense. Jay Huff, the multi-block legend. He did it again today. I have no trust in anything, but let's do it. Sodromo Kelishvili, I'm guessing part of this is streaming him in for Sunday. Then he played well, so people thought it would continue. And to be honest, it sort of did, even with Yucca Purtle back. And then, I love this one, the 5th one, my man Noah Clowney. We've all come around, finally. I don't, just between you and me, I don't think this sticks like this for Clowney. Not at this level, but what is the most important thing with Clowney, we'll talk about later. Look how big the minutes are. And that is a huge indicator. And I love to see that. In terms of the most dropped dudes, who was done, who's off rosters, and we'll see if they make sense. Dennis Jenkins, very, very easy jack for Dennis.
Get that garbage out of here.
Fan of Pants, totally okay. Tristan Da Silva, no worries. Bogdan Bogdanovic, see you later. And Derek Lively, dropped. Easy. All those ones, not difficult decisions to make. So if they're on your roster and in a standard sort of a format, they're probably just clogging up spots. Although, if you've waited this long and you have kept Tristan Da Silva, they play tomorrow. So you'd be stupid to drop him right now because you just need someone who plays tomorrow. He should have been dropped before that. But, just for future reference, that's what you can do. Shall we look at games? We probably should. Let's just get straight into it. First game. And I apologize for this because I don't know what happened. Randomly, my computer decided, Adobe, thank you for doing this, just to delete the font that I use. As I'd created all of these lineups and then I went to process them, it just deleted the font. So some of them have come out with this weird Times New Roman ass looking font. I don't know why. I fixed it for some of the later lineups if you're watching this on YouTube, but I have no idea. I had to go and go, where's my font gone? And I had to go re-download it. Don't know why it went anywhere, but there you go. Detroit, Indiana. The Pistons rolled in with the same starting group in this game, and they win it 122-117. Not as explosive as they've been in some other games. But we did have interesting things. We'll start with Dennis Jenkins because he was the number 1 most dropped player. He'd been playing well. He played 8 minutes with 5 points. Like that's really just simple. And again, we know that if players get injured, Jenkins will step up and be pretty good. But there's just no space here. So bye. I guess the one that's more, well, actually we do Duncan Robinson, you don't need to roster him. He played 34 minutes. He had 9 points with 1-3. Like, okay. That's sick. And he had a little run where he's putting up some good numbers, but he's absolutely not a must, Duncan Robinson.
Get that garbage out of here.
The question you're going to ask now is, what about with Jaden Ivey? Because he played 15 minutes in the first game and then played 12 here. Now, he still scored 12 points on insane usage. Didn't have much else. That's definitely worrying. If I've had him, if I added him, if he was on my IR, I am holding. I want to see where this goes. Is he going to be a 20-minute player? I really do doubt it, but we need to see it. Encouragingly, Asar Thompson played 31 minutes. 13, 3, and 4 with a steal, and shot well. What are the better results you could hope for? We're still a lot to play out with this team, but that's encouraging. Well, Jalen Duren, who was awesome to start the year, obviously, has been one of the best players in the league. No, not even a joke. It's just cooling a little bit. This is the first time he's gone over 30 minutes in his last 4 games, and this one he had 30 minutes and 18 seconds. His free throws, which were unbelievably high, have dipped as well, which is a concern. And 17 and 12 with no defense is fine, but it's not like dominating like we were before. We're not worried too much. We're not doing anything. You can't not do anything about it, but it is worth noting. Cade had 24, 11, and 6 with no defense, and probably some subpar percentages there, while Toby Harris got to 26. For now, Harris, I think, is a soft hold. I think if you go shallow, 130 deep leagues, you could consider him a fringe guy. He had 12, 1, and 2. I just want to see where the minutes go and how they decide to distribute it. Also, a really good game from Karis LeVert. Now, Dracaris had been doing very little. He had 19 points with 3 threes in 23 minutes. That's very good. But look at literally every other game. He just got really hot in this game, which probably does account for some of the fewer minutes for Jenkins and for Ivy. So I wouldn't do anything there with old mate. What's he called? Dracaris. Yeah, I think just one of those random hot games that happen. For the Pacers, they rolled in again with the same starting lineup. So let's look at the centers. James Huff played only 18 minutes. He did have foul trouble, but his run of multi-block games continued. Another 2 blocks, 11 points, 3 threes. They've got 3 more games this week. I do think that adding Huff does make sense. It could be nothing. Again, he played 8 minutes in a game 4 games ago, but he's producing pretty well. Isaiah Jackson, on the other hand, almost impossible to trust this. 9 and 4. Ryan Anderson with no threes, and he only played 24 minutes. Just not enough. Actually, a stinker from Ben Mathurin. 14 points, 23% shooting, no defense, and only 4 rebounds. He's better than this. As much as I'm not the biggest Ben Mathurin fan, he is better than this, but he just sometimes gets a stinker game, and that's exactly what happened. Jarris Walker, hello! Now, if Jarris, obviously, was this good, we'd be all loving it. But he's not. Like, he shot 80% here to get 21, 6, and 2 with 5 threes. Very good, Jarris. Does it make up for you shooting 24% in every other game? Not really. I'm not making a move. I'm not adding him. I do not believe that all of a sudden he's the best shooter of all time. And the good shooting here got him extra playing time. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. Well, Siakam had 24 and 8 with 2 steals and 2 blocks. And the other interesting note is TJ McConnell played 22. 16, 1, and 5 with 3 steals is incredibly TJ McConnell. 22 minutes of TJ is probably enough. It's probably enough. He hadn't been trending that way. He'd been hovering 15, 16. That's enough. So if you wanted to grab him, do it. I still think it's going to be capped because he's not going to push higher than this, but he might. But I loved seeing that production from Timothy John McConnell here in this game. We'll come back and we'll talk about more of the games today's episode though. It is brought to you by Robinhood. Nobody knows your money goals better than you. Robinhood puts you in control of your money with tools that work as hard as you do. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, then beating it again. You can channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options and futures and crypto all on one platform. And you can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools. Or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, so expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that is robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Today's episode is also brought to you by Drip Drop. When I feel hydrated, everything just works better. It's your focus, your energy, your skin, the glisten in your eye. It's all there when you are hydrated. With Drip Drop, it is just hydration, but better. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power, no matter what my day looks like. I get up incredibly early to do this work, to do this show, to do these shows. Like, I'm up 5 o'clock every day. So I need hydration to keep me spry and just looking like the pretty boy that I am. It's not your average sports drink, though. It's 3 times the electrolytes and half of the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula. Trusted by firefighters, medical professionals who then became firefighters, and 90% of top college and pro teams. Right now, DripDrop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. That's dripdrop.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That is dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard. For me down here in Australia, but for you guys with all the busyness of the holiday season in America, keep your body and mind performing at your best with Drip Drop. Now, let's go to the next game. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors just can't lose, apparently. I guess that's what happens when you're in Canada and there's literally nothing else to do but practice basketball because, you're in Canada. 110 Toronto, 99 Cleveland. Now, the Cavs, they had no Jarrett Allen again, but then there was no DeAndre Hunter, no Darius Garland, no Sam Merrill, no Craig Porter, no Dean Wade, no Max Strus. And that is literally 7 rotation or at least rotation adjacent players. So when we talk about the big performance from Jalen Tyson, and it is a big performance, that has to be factored in. We had Larry Nance move into the starting lineup in this one, as well as Lonzo Ball. Tyson had 15 and 9 with 2 threes, a steal and a block playing 34 minutes. It's great. He also, guess what he did? Did he do the thing? You're bloody right he did. Because he shot 67% in 34 minutes. Everyone was out, usage strong, delivered with high efficiency. I like Tyson. I love Tyson as a player. I think he's going to be a real future solid starter in the NBA and very good fantasy player. But Allen, Hunter, Garland, Merrill, Wade could literally all just play in the next game. He plays 20 minutes off the bench and the value's not there. Garland is going to be back 100%. Hunter is going to be back 100%. They just rested today. Allen, debatable, but I don't think he's going to be out long. Also, remember, 82 games from Jarrett Allen last season. Strus, forever. Who cares? Wade, doesn't matter that much. Merrill, not sure. But you're going to get at least 2 guys back as starters, maybe a third. And it will make it literally impossible for him to start. So if you added him for this back-to-back, fantastic work. But he needs 2 extra guys apart from Strus out, or at least, let's say 1. He needs 1 extra guy apart from Strus being out to be a solid 12-team guy. Lonzo Ball, 8 points. He shot 2 of 12 from 3, which is obviously bad, but 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and a block is really useful. And on games like this, when there are 7 rotation players out, then we stream Lonzo in. That's why he was the front cover of my streaming show for yesterday, because I liked him as one of the best streams of the day. And that worked out not too bad. Larry Nance started. He played 18 minutes. It was Naquan Tomlin who really stepped up. 14 with 4 rebounds and 2 threes. Good, but again, who cares? Because all of these guys being out is not a regular enough occurrence, or not even a likely occurrence to happen really at any point moving forward, that we're going to be able to execute something with that. On the Toronto side, they didn't have Rowan Barrett. RJ was out. They haven't given a time frame on it, which is just great. I love that. Just tell us, bro. I'm going to assume a couple of weeks for RJ with a knee sprain, but I don't know. It doesn't appear super serious. They went with Lonnie Walker the 5th, Jacoby Walter as the starter, and unsurprisingly, he did nothing. 5 points on 25%. He did have 2 steals though, but we obviously do not add him in 10s or 12s or 14s. It would need to be outside the top, or larger, or at least a 200 deep league to consider Walter. We also got a little bit more Jamal Shead. 9 points with 7 assists in 24 minutes. But that is not enough to care about in most leagues. It's a stream guy for maybe 175 deep leagues. And it is disappointing. They didn't give us enough Dick. 11 minutes. I think we got 15 minutes of Dick yesterday, and then it's only 11 today. So with Barrett out, we got less Dick. And I didn't expect that. Dick was scoreless. In fact, oh my God, we had a Tony Snell Dick. 11 trillion for Grady. Safe to say, if you added him, you wouldn't be happy with it, and you'd probably move on. In fact, you 100% should. Jakob Poeltl returned. He had 7 points, he had 13 boards and 2 steals. Still a lot more that he can do, but that's okay. Well, Barnesy had 18, 11, and 6. Ingram was great with 37 and 7 and 5 threes. Just unlucky about the 2 of 5 from the line. And quickly, not at his best with some poor shooting, but 11, 6, and 7, very hard to complain. And I said earlier, but Sandro Mamukelashvili really was good. 12 and 9 with 2 threes in 21 minutes, while Poeltl played just the 27. I don't think that Mamu is going to keep Poeltl down at 27, but Mamukelashvili's offensive ability is strong, and any game that Jakob is not there, he is a really key stream option for us. Now let's go to the battle in New York, the two boroughs, the Knicks versus the Nets. The Nets lose 113-100. The Knicks had a bit of a change to the starting lineup. Mitchell Robinson was resting, so it was Josh the Hitman Hart who moved into the starting lineup. And with no Landry Shamet, it was Juice McBride who moved into that starting lineup. So, how do we make sense of this rotation? Well, we'll start with just the big games from the start. 37-12 with 2 blocks for Towns on 70%. Great. 27-3-3 in 33 minutes for Brunson. Cool. Well, Bridges had 16-4-4 with 2 steals. No worries. We got 38 minutes of Josh Hart. 7 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. And you'll be looking at this and you'll be like, oh my God, yes. My boo is back. This is what I love about Josh Hart. This is what he does. He is back, my guy. I think you know what I'm going to say. And if not, I'll say it. He played 38 minutes, which means anytime that he plays 32, it's nothing to do with the minutes restriction. Anytime he plays under 30, it's nothing to do with the minutes restriction. And in this game, Mitchell Robinson could easily just slide straight back in and start, and Hart goes back to the bench next game, and you've got Anunoby also to return. So while this is great, there's at least one rotation change coming next game, and it probably means Hart moves to the bench. And then he probably goes back to 32 minutes. And then you've got the Anunoby return eventually. I'm not saying drop Josh Hart. I'm just saying this, I don't think, is an indicator of like, all right, it's just back to last season, we're off and rolling. Because those two guys are going to come back. Robinson literally as soon as next game. As for McBride, he played 30 minutes, which is great, but like the rest of it's crap. 9, 2, and 3, and he's just a deeper league stream guy. While Jordan Clarkson, the man on the street, had 12 points. Cool. But he played only 20 minutes. He had absolutely nothing else. And while it was viable to consider him a streamer in this position, he didn't deliver. So you don't need to worry about him too much. I'll tell you what you do need to worry about, though. And that is my man, Noah Clowney, looking good. Looking good. Like I said, I think in yesterday's show or the day before, I don't remember when it was. But I said, one of the key things about Clowney here is he played 37 minutes for 2 games in a row. And he played 39 here. Right, that is unbelievably key. Now, he didn't have any defensive stats here. But he had 31 points. He had 7 threes. He had 4 rebounds. And now a perfect 6 of 6 from the line after going a perfect 8 of 8 yesterday. He also shot 53% overall, led the team in shot attempts. What is actually going on here? Now, you know me. I like Noah Clowney. I added him as soon as he moved into that starting lineup. I think I might have added him actually one game before because it looked like that's what they were doing. But I've also said all the way along, like, I am biased. You do not have to be as interested in Clowney as I am. It's actually undeniable now that he has to be rostered. It could change at any point. But the difference with this and some other ones is that I don't think there's anybody coming that's taking the spot. Like Hayward Highsmith's not supplanting him. Cam Thomas isn't. I think they're just going to roll with Clowney. And he looks bloody good. It was not a good game for Claxton, who had 8 and 4 on 25% with 67 from the line. I know he had a triple-double the other day, but his recent production has been down. It has not been as good as what it has been earlier in the season. And it was probably the worst game from podcast legend Michael Porter Jr. 16 and 4 for him. Not too worried, but bad shooting, bad from the line. All of it was bad. It's one of those ones we can just throw away. I know I said I'd give it Jaeger Dioman until we got to Thanksgiving to make a definitive call on what we're doing. We're close enough.
Get that garbage out of here!
It's just not enough improvement. 9 and 6 with 2 assists is like nothing. It's not good. I think you could do without it. Simple as that. I am keeping one eye on Drake Powell, who had 15 points and 4 assists. We're not adding him outside of 200 deep leagues. But at the moment, he is the best producing rookie on this team. And then Tyrese Martin, who was great the last time we saw him, he had 4 points. He did have 7 rebounds and 5 assists, but again, he's just so unreliable to give you just game by game something at least solid. It's great, and then it's like dreadful, and then great, and then dreadful, great. I feel like there's nothing in between. Also, Ziaire Williams got DMP'd. All right. Geordie said after the game, Coach Fernandez said after the game that it was about his lack of attention to defense, which was what got him minutes last season. He sort of wasn't doing that as much this season and wanted him to get his focus back on that. Williams is only a stream guy, but it was a notable development to see him out of the rotation in this game. Now, the next game, Dallas and Miami. Close one here. Miami wins at 106-102. The Mavericks rolled out their same lineup that they've been using. And I guess one of the big questions is going to be Brandon Williams. What do we do? Because Williams played 21 minutes. He had 12 and 5, which is not terrible, on 31% shooting, which is terrible. But I know the questions, and I've already seen the questions come through. It's like, oh man, now Ryan Nembhard's going to take his role. Nembhard played 17 minutes. He had 2 points with 8 assists. And I will grant you this. Nembhard's the best passer on this team. I don't have any problem saying that. But we have to remember that Williams came into this game questionable with a back issue. I don't know that the back caused the problem here. I would have to think it probably did. And again, Williams has been like iffy of late. If we see a repeat where Nembhard is now a problem, because like D'Angelo Russell played 10 minutes and was scoreless, and like I know I've written the end for D'Angelo Russell a million times. I just want to keep doing it like he's done.
Get that garbage out of here!
It's not happening again. Surely not. We don't roster D'Angelo Russell. But now like a new contender's in here. I do think the back is a little bit of a worry here for Brandon Williams. I would try to hold, because I'm not convinced that it was a 4-minute split thing. There was no Lively in this game. There was no AD in this game. So Daniel Gafford played 28 minutes. He had 11-11 with 2 blocks, which is like fine. It's not like good though. Like it's fine. With 2 other centers out, who literally could both play, and I don't know whether they will, but they could both play in the next game. I don't think Lively's a must-roster player, by the way. I think Gafford is for now, but it could change. PJ had 27 and 8, while Flag, I'll keep whatever. 12 and 7, 2 steals, not good. Definitely not good. Plenty of room to get better. Do not drop him, but definitely not blowing us away. We had 15 and 5 from Max Christie, which is enough to be a streamer, and it's also Najee Marshall. Like, we need guys out. And that's, by guys out, I mean more than Davis and Lively. He needs one of Flag or Washington to be out to be useful. Najee had 7 points in 21 minutes with 2 steals. The role isn't there. You can't be rostering Najee Marshall in 12-team leagues at this stage, I don't think. Shall we do the other side of it? Because I know you all want to hear about Superman, Kel'el Ware, who started again for Miami. Let's set the scene. Miami had no Andrew Wiggins. Norman Powell is dealing with a groin strain after he left the game with the groin strain and came back in and then had to miss time. Exactly the same thing happened to Norman Powell last season, but with a hamstring injury, remember. He left the game, hamstring strain, came back in, and I said, what are they doing? Are they normal? He finished the game, then he missed 3 weeks. I don't know if that's going to be the case here, but I'm not feeling very confident about it and about Powell's ability to listen to someone telling him about muscle strains. But anyway, Powell was out, Wiggins was out, Jovic was out. So, Ware started. Kel'el played 34 minutes. He had 20 and 18 with 3 blocks. It's a masterfully good game. He has been unbelievably good. Great. Fantastic. But as always, I have no idea what is going to happen when Wiggins is back. Because 3 games ago, this man played 18 minutes off the bench behind Wiggins and Bam. Then Wiggins got hurt and he started next to Bam, and it's been pretty good. Although, last game, he didn't close. He did in this one. I really like Kel'el Ware. If I had control over Erik Spoelstra, I don't know, I'd do a few things, but I would start him every game. I would. But I'm not, and Spoelstra has literally proven to us he does not want to do that. Now, I know he said some things about Ware in press conferences post-game, but again, he doesn't have a choice at the moment. I'm not telling you to drop Ware. I'm not telling you that it's going to be bad. I'm telling you to prepare for the fact that this does not indicate that Kel'el is going to play 33 minutes as a starter, that he's going to even start games when these guys return. I don't think that happens. I know, but I just don't know. Tyler Hero returned. Great. 29 minutes, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals. He didn't have a single assist and he shot really well, but that's great just to have him back. He started next to Davion Mitchell, who had 8 points. He had 4 assists and 2 steals. He shot 50% from the field. I just don't believe that Davion is a must-roster player, especially if you go to 130 deep leagues. You can roster him. I just don't think it's necessary. And then Pelle Larsson had 9 points. He had 5 assists. He's getting big assist numbers almost every game. He had 1 steal and 2 blocks. If I tell you that I don't think that Mitchell needs to be rostered, and I say, oh, Larsson's doing something interesting, you can consider streaming him, that's because they're coming from different positions. One guy not rostered at all, Larsson. One guy rostered everywhere. So the default position on Mitchell is that someone's got him, and I don't know if you have to. Whereas for Larsson, people don't, but you can consider moving it in at the right spot. And I think, honestly, they should be at a similar level, these two, at least for now. But one's coming from up here, Mitchell, and Larsson's coming from down here. And really, they should be closer to the middle. Adebayo had 17 and 6 with 2 blocks. Just a really rough efficiency night from Bam. I don't think we worried too much about that. But they were so depleted. We had 18 minutes of Keshad Johnson coming off the bench. And Jaime Jaquez, 33 minutes is good. That's encouraging. But he had 13, 7 and 5. No defense. Subpar percentages. After an unbelievable start from Jaquez, he is fading. And get Wiggins and Powell back. I do think that he will move to be a drop. He did the thing early in the season with usage up, minutes up, efficiency up, all in at once, with players out. And as they trickle back, I just don't think Jaime is going to stay in that same role. We have got more to talk about, but today's episode, it is brought to you by Game Time. With the NBA officially here, you want to be live in the arena to watch your team, but getting tickets can be a total headache. You're waiting queues, surprise fees, prices that jump up right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated with the ticket buying experience. That's where Game Time comes in though. For fans, it is the ultimate hack, the secret weapon that you have to get tickets to go see NBA games live. With Game Time, you can go in, look at the seat, see exactly what your view is going to be, and the price they display on that ticket is the price you're going to pay at checkout. No added fees. Plus, you've also got the zone deal where you can just pick an area that you want to sit, and Game Time will find you the best ticket in that area. Zone, in fact. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Let's go to the next one. It is the Portland Trailblazers and the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee, and Portland gets a win, 115-103. The Blazers rolled out their same starting group, which is without Drew Holiday and Shaedon Sharpe. Jeremy Grant on a clear heater here. It's either a sell high or just enjoy it, because I think it will be a drop later on, but 35, 4 and 4 on 44% from the field, but an astonishing, 17 of 19 from the line. That is just huge for your free throw percentage this week. Don Klingon, he's been up and down, but recently more up than down. 14 and 12 with a steal and a block. And we also got a pretty good Robbie Williams game. The Rock DJ had 4 blocks with 8 points in 16 minutes. And the fact that he's back and healthy and playing, not every night, but back playing, he does have value in deeper leagues. Denny Avdia, some rough free throw numbers here. And this used to be a real problem for him, and it is creeping back, so just got to watch that. 22, 4 and 5 for him, while Kamara, I don't know if he's fully back, but 13 and 7, 3 threes, 2 steals, 1 block. Good. We're good. Again, everything that I've said about Kamara remains the same. In points leagues, do whatever. Don't need to hold. In 12-team categories, I would. And we are seeing a bit of a turnaround. 26 minutes again from Caleb Love, 13 points with 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He's a stream guy, and it's unreliable, as you've seen over the last few games. While CD Sissoko started and just really snell maxing. He had 3 points on 25%. Doesn't really do anything out there. Not a lot else, I don't think, to talk about on that Portland side, but we can go to the Milwaukee side for another Glenn Rivers masterpiece. As we talk about the Bucks yesterday or the other day, I made a joke. I did a bit of physical humor where I told you to come close to the camera. I said Glenn Rivers is bad. All right, did that, right? And people were like, "What? Doc Rivers is a bad coach?" Yes, he's a bad coach. What? Do people still think this guy's a good coach? He is a bad coach. Jesus Christ! I was like, "Wow, you actually saying he's bad?" Yeah, he's a bad coach. Realistically, a terrible coach. So what he decided to do today was bench Bobby Portis and start old mate Jericho Sims. Sims played 11 minutes and was scoreless. He got into foul trouble in that time. That's pretty cool. As for Bob, he played 27 off the bench. He had 22 and 6 with 2 steals and 4 threes. So we're just holding Bob while Yanni is out. And then the future MVP, Kyle Kuzma, continues to start. He had 15 and 6. And Ryan Anderson, which if those of you don't know, is 0 assists, 0 steals, and 0 blocks. And he was bad from the line. I'd rather Portis over Kuzma at the moment. They both got some viability with Yanni out. Ryan Rollins, definitely not his best. 10 and 7 assists with 5 rebounds. I don't know why I said it that way. But shot really poorly. Doesn't matter. We just roll with him at the moment. And then Cole Anthony got hot. 16 points off the bench with 2 steals. Definitely cannot rely upon that. So don't get any level of excitement going. Gary Trent did his thing. He hit 2 threes. Big Boom AJ Green hit 1. We don't roster them in any sort of format. But I'm looking at their numbers. Why is AJ Green so highly rostered in 12-team leagues? Are you guys actually feeling all right? He should be nowhere near it. Not even close. Why is it sitting 28%? Mate, that makes no sense. Guys, AJ Green, I didn't realize I have to give a big boom to AJ here. Give him 5 big booms. Boom. Or 5 big jacks.
Get that cabbage out of here.
It's a non-review. AJ Green. Let's go to the next game. Yeah. Now we can talk Denver Nuggets and the Memphis Grizzlies. The Nuggets win at 125-115. So we're doing a quick Peyton Watson check. 27 points. Is that really? What is going on with this guy? He took 22 shots. Bro, what is happening? This is when you see a box score and you go, okay, sometimes stuff just makes no sense. 30 usage and 22 shots for Peyton Watson. 9 shots for Nikola Jokic. All right. Watson, who we talked about as soon as Aaron Gordon went down, you got to grab him. You have to roster him because of the 2-player absence flaw. But I don't think anyone's real if they're expecting this like production. I don't know where this offense is coming from. But whatever, it's here. It's glorious. Cam Johnson is also continuing, which we love, continuing to do the thing. He's parlaying absences into more minutes and then at the same time improving his efficiency. 18 and 6 with 3 threes. Now the usage isn't necessarily up, but the other stuff is. So for now, there's value in him. While the headmaster Jamal Murray had 19 and 8, and Jokic had a 17, 10, 16 triple-double. Of course he did. Tim Hardaway and Bruce Brown are getting more minutes, but they're not really touching the sides. 9, 3, and 2 for Bruce, 13 with 2 threes for Tim. We're talking deep league stuff, like 200-player deep leagues probably. Not 12s, not 14s. Just guys that occasionally you can stream in, but that's probably about it. On the Memphis side of the equation, Jaren Jackson returned, so that meant that Santi Aldama moved back to the bench. Let's look at that dynamic. Aldama played 33 minutes, had 12, 6, and 6, 2 steals and 2 blocks, and was inefficient, but had 16 shots. Sure. All right, no worries. Well, Jackson played 29 minutes and was bad again on bad efficiency. Aldama's on a real heater at the moment. I still fail to fully trust in him, but it is really developing well at the moment. It does help that Zach Edey left after 6 minutes. They said that he was doubtful to return. They just said head. Now, I have had issues with my head before, but I'd like a more clear explanation. What is it? Was it concussion? Migraine? Too much teeth? What was it? What happened? It doesn't appear like it was concussion. No one can really see anything that happened to Edey. He just left with a head issue. I hope it's nothing serious. It is very frustrating, obviously, and we just wait for updates. With him out, it was the big fella, Jock Landau, who played 31 minutes. Yesterday I made a big deal on the preview show talking about Landau, saying, look, he's questionable. It's not going to matter for most of you, but if he does play, it is important for deeper leagues. And then, of course, he comes out and it was bloody important for everybody. Of course, nobody could have foreseen that, but 26 and 10 is very good for Jock. Best Jalen Wells game as well. He had 22 with 4 threes. I'm just going to be very honest with you, Jalen. I'm just not going to buy it. I'm not going to believe it. I'd like to see you do it a few more times versus being putrid for the 15 other games and giving us one big one. Vincey Williams, only 6 points on really bad shooting, but I love the rest. 2 threes, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He just is a must-roster player. And then for deeper leagues, and honestly, it's moving towards even 14 teamers, but Cam Spencer had 18, 2, and 4. He did shoot well to get there, but he played 29 minutes. He's just good. He's better than KCP. And I'll be honest with you, he's better than Cedric Coward right now. That does not mean that Coward is not good or that Coward isn't going to be a better player than him next week. But at the moment, Spencer's doing more. Coward had 5 points. He shot poorly, and at least he got 1 steal. But he is doing actually nothing. He is just bad. He's barely even a top 150 guy after that red hot start to the season. And I'm not dropping him yet. But if this continues for another week, I'm just going to chalk up the early season stuff to just some fluky stuff, which it was. There was a lot of fluky stuff in what he did. His 4 steals, his 70% 3-point shooting. While having really low usage. There was a lot of red flags, hence why I was somewhat skeptical about some of it. But I'm also skeptical that he's this bad. I think Coward, the chicken, will be better than this. But it's not looking good. It actually looks horrendous at the moment, to be honest. Now let's talk about my Chicago Bulls as they lose to the Pelicans. And that's what happens when you, as I forget to change the Grizzlies lineup off there. That's what happens when the GOAT's out, when Vooch doesn't play. Vooch was out with knee soreness. So instead of starting Jalen Smith, Patrick Williams started. All right. Now, it is true they don't have any other backup center because, Arturis and Zach Collins is hurt. So, I understand that. But, just what are you doing? Why? Just play Sticks a million minutes. Because it did not work. Patrick Williams remains, you'll be shocked to know this, terrible. 6 points with 2 threes for him on 22% shooting. He is bad. But then, Billy Donovan decided the best course of action, because he reversed it at halftime. He said, all right, no, we actually need a center out there. All right, Pat, you stay out there, and Matas Buzelis, you come off the bench. Sick. Buzelis played 21 minutes. He had 10 and 4 with 2 threes and 2 blocks. I have so far been quite wrong on Buzelis. I thought he'd be playing 30 minutes every night and be way more involved offensively. But he is the guy at the moment that Billy Donovan is just, whatever happens, you're off. Off. Done. You're the one. Off. See ya. I am not dropping Matas Buzelis. But it is not looking great. Even though it's not looking great, he still is not disastrous. But it is not looking great. I also love when something happens that, like, we go, hey, if Vooch misses a game, Jalen Smith might have a big one. And he also had a big game to go with it. He had 13 points with 6 rebounds and 3 threes. Didn't block a shot, but he's been, like, really good, even with Vooch in. I don't think this Vooch injury is a long-term thing, but it's worth noting. There was also no Fanapants, Kevin Huerter in this one, or Isaac Okoro. So that's why we got 32 minutes of Ayo Dosunmu. Another thing I like is when I say something as my hypothesis. Okay, Ayo Dosunmu needs 2-3 guys out, he needs big minutes, and he needs to hit his shots at an extreme rate to actually be good. 32 minutes, 28 points, 69% shooting. Look, bro, that's like a different sort of the thing. That's Ayo's thing. He had a combined 3 rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks, which is obviously terrible. And the way that he gets value is by hitting 65% of shots in a situation where multiple guys are out. I do not believe that rostering Ayo Dosunmu is a must. Huerter and Okoro just aren't going to be out every game. They're just not. And he's also not going to shoot that well. Kobe White, minutes restriction, done. 35 minutes, 24, 5, and 6, while Giddey had 21, 6, and 7. Good games from those guys. But they lost. We got a pretty big game from Trey Jones. 10 points, 11 assists in 28 minutes. But again, Huerter and Okoro were out. I don't think that you need to be rostering Trey Jones in 12-team formats. I just don't think that that's necessary. Obviously, with those guys out, yeah, it's useful. But as a longer-term thing, don't think so. And now we talk about the Pelicans, which it's hard to talk about because they won. But the talk of the town for everybody has been the Blizzard. Yas Queen. Derik played 17 minutes. He got benched after halftime. He had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. And honestly, those numbers in those minutes are fine. But one of the things, again, that you can get lost in, you can see highlights. You can see fantasy numbers. But if you actually aren't leading to huge or significant on-court success, or you're causing problems through your defense, the coach will limit your playing time. The other thing about Queen is a lot of his damage had been done in the last half of the fourth quarter when games were over. I'm not saying that he's a fraud at all. I think he's an extremely fun and exciting player. But I have said that there's so much of people getting out over their skis with this guy. You absolutely do not drop Derik Queen. You 100% hold him. But this was bad. He was a -2 in the first half in a game they were winning by 16. Yves Missi and Jose Alvarado put the foot down and really got him going. Missi, best game he's probably ever played, 14 and 13 with 3 blocks. Now, if there's one thing that's really good, it's when you play as a center, you play against the Bulls and you play against Vooch. You get to put big numbers. Apparently what's even better is you get to play against Patrick Williams. Missi was great. Alvarado, also ridiculously good. 16, 8, and 8 with 2 steals. Do I believe there is a passing of the torch from Jeremiah Fears to Jose Alvarado? No, I don't. Jordan Poole could also just be back as early as the end of the weekend maybe. Alvarado has been up and down. I do not think you need to rush to grab him here. Herb Jones is also out for this week, so we already know we're dropping Herb Jones. I guess the question is going to be, what do you do with Jeremiah Fears? Sasha had 15, 4, and 3 with no steals, no blocks. He's a point guard who doesn't get assists, doesn't really do anything defensively. His shooting is iffy, and now he's losing minutes. Again, I much like with Diego Dioman, I wanted to wait until Thanksgiving, but I also think if you wanted to jack. Although their schedule's pretty good this week, so maybe you hold for that. But there's nothing that Fears has done to suggest to me that, oh wow, just wait, because I think it might get worse as we move forward. I think it might. Zion had only 1 rebound, which is bad, but 29 points in 30 minutes, 2 steals, 1 block, and 14 of 16 from the line. And I bet you didn't think you'd get that from Zion Williamson. That's a very good game from him. And Saddiq Bey, the depressed penis, a nice 20 and 14 double-double in 34 minutes. And Murphy had 20 points with 4 assists and 2 steals. Bey, if he gets a start, you stream him in. And he started for Herb here, which could continue all week. So maybe you do look at the depressed penis and you hold him for this week if they're going to go this way, which they could. But obviously there's more confusion now. Look, what happens with Missi here? What happens with Alvarado? I still think Queen and Fears will start next game, but I guess everything's sort of up in the air now. I don't know what direction Borrego's going to go, but that is the direction that he went here. And I guess it left some confusion for you. I think one of the things you take away from this is that it's very good to get excited about a player. It's very good to get excited about Derik Queen, or even if it was Jeremiah Fears. Now, look at this, his rookie, he's doing this. But these games you should treat them like a slap in the face where you go, oh, okay, all right. So he's not that all the time. There will be some of that, but there's still a lot. There's still a lot that needs to happen. And it's always a good like little reminder on those sort of hype players and get you fully lifting up a desk just to get put back to go, oh, okay, he's not that. He's good, but he's not that. And I hope that makes sense. We are, just to be clear, because you're a hater. You just hate him. You want any excuse. I don't. I didn't make the decisions. And to be clear, we are 100% holding on to Derik Queen. But it's just a little sobering to go, oh, okay. There is risks of stuff. Much like there is with Buzelis, which we saw on the other side, who is someone I have been very big into. And that risk is now very apparent and very clear. But I'm holding both guys. Now we can talk about the Houston Rockets and the Phoenix Suns. The Rockets pull away in the end here to beat Phoenix 114-92. There was no Kevin Durant, as we know. They also decided to go a little bit smaller, taking Steven Adams out of the starting lineup. So that meant that we finally got Reed Sheppard starting. We also got Josh Okogie back into the starting lineup. I'm sure you don't care that much about that. What you want to hear about is what happened with Reed Sheppard. So Sheppard started. He played 27 minutes and had 7 points. It's frustrating, right? It's basically the same as what he was doing as a bench player, except this time the shots didn't go in. Now, on the positive side, he had 3 steals and 5 assists, but he shot 22%. Now, he was always going to drop off with his shooting, because he'd been shooting at unbelievable levels. I am still very clearly holding Reed Sheppard. He did the opposite of the thing. He got the start, and usage minutes and shooting all went down, which is not great. Amen Thompson was great though. 28, 7 and 8 with a block on 63% shooting and then 100% from the line. One of the best Amen games we've gotten this season. Jabari Smith also really good. 17 and 7 with a Richie Beno. 2 threes, 2 steals and 2 blocks. And Şengün had 18. It was also a out of body experience from Aaron Holiday. 27 minutes, 22 points, 6 threes, 2 steals. So part of the reason why Sheppard's minutes were pushed down is that Holiday just got red hot. And you can't really account for that, can you? Josh Okogie did nothing as per usual. He did have 3 steals, to be fair to him, but shot 36 from the field and had 9 points in 30 minutes. We do not need to roster Okogie outside of desperation, deeper streaming type scenarios. Durant will be out in the next one as well. So I expect you get a pretty similar starting lineup, and it would seem unlikely to me that Aaron Holiday would play this well, and that would limit Sheppard again. I just don't think that's a likely possibility, but you never know, because obviously it did happen today here in this one. On the other side of the game, Phoenix, they are still without Grayson Allen. So they went with the same starting group as last time, except Mark Williams was resting on the second night of a back-to-back, and it was BDNR, Big Dick Nick Richards, that moved into that starting lineup. 4 points in 22 minutes with 11 rebounds. Cool. Sick. Asa Iguodala had 2 points in his 20 minutes, and I just don't care about those guys. If Williams is out, I'm just not interested. They're just not providing anything. I actually don't know what's going on with Dillon Brooks. I don't know who this player is. 32 minutes, 29 points, 22 shots. I think part of the reason why we liked grabbing Devin Booker at the turn in drafts was, look, he's going to have to do a lot. Never in a million years did it enter my head once that Dillon Brooks would be a 20-shot per game guy who was actually really good. I never thought, like, completely off, completely missed it. For now, Brooks is just a must-roster player. It's confounding, but it's happening. We're doing it again. There's no Allen, there's no Green, there's no Dunn. So Colin Gillespie was really good. 16, 2-2, 2 steals. Must-roster player. Later on in the season, probably won't be. And then we also got Royce O'Neal having one of his better games. 12 and 5. Like, it's fine. He's not really taking advantage of guys being out. Jordan Goodwood started again. Like, it definitely wasn't as good as last time. 7 and 4 with 2 steals. But I'll always take that chance on a starter like Goodwin in a game where those players are out. It just didn't work out very well for him in this one. While Booker, the Bilo is still there. 18 points, 2 threes, 5 assists, and bad from the line as well as bad from the field. He's not this bad of a shooter. He will improve as a shooter. Guaranteed. Even if he's not as good of a shooter as his reputation might suggest that he is, he's way better than this. So the buy low is still very much open for Devin Booker. Now we can talk about a game that was a blowout. The Utah Jazz and the Golden State Warriors. 134 actually Golden State, 117 Utah. The Jazz rolled in with the same starting group, which included Ace Bailey. And Bailey had a really good game. And that's very much encouraging. Now, his production up until this game has not been at the level that you necessarily wanted, but he had 21 points in 29 minutes. He had a steal and a block, and he shot 53%. And importantly, the volume was up. He took the third most shots on the team. I would love to see this continue. It hasn't been this good. For now, you can hold and let's see where it goes. The Keontae George breakout just continues. It's just unabated. Bad free throws, but 28, 6 and 7, 2 steals and 4 threes. It's just every game now that he's awesome somehow. And Lauri Markkanen had not a good one. 17, 6 and 4 on horrendous field goal percentage, but that's okay. We are getting more of a clear picture on what they want from Isaiah Collier, and the answer is not very much. 2 points, 3 assists, 2 steals. A pretty comfortable jack for him, I think.
Get that garbage out of here!
And then you look at the guys like Kyle Filipowski, which a lot of people are stashing, only 15 minutes. He had 11 and 8, which is fine, but this is one that you're just going to have to take lumps and lumps and lumps until something maybe happens. Nurkic was okay without being good, 8 and 9 on a block. I will still hold him. While Kyle Anderson got a big bump in minutes. I don't really know if we read into anything there. 12, 7 and 5. That's a good game. But Anderson hasn't been playing that sort of most nights. We also sort of changed in the rotation. Cody Williams, who might be the NBA's worst player, out of the rotation. Walter Clayton, who'd been out of the rotation, was back in. Clayton had 17 minutes and was scoreless. He's again, one of those things. He's NBA ready. He's an older player. He's got to push for minutes straight away. There was a narrative that Walter Clayton was going to be the starting point guard for this team because he was so NBA ready and he was going to push in. NBA ready is just usually not a thing. Unless you are one of the top guys, and even then there are growing pains. The idea that you come in at age 22 and you're NBA ready just is not a thing that is a blanket statement. You will find 1 or 2 examples, and most of them just suck. Most of them are bad. Clayton might be good at some point. He might be. But he's bad now. Like, very bad. And who knows where it goes. But again, that idea, if you hear that idea, if someone throws that out in the NBA preseason about an older college player, he's NBA ready, he's got the experience, your immediate reaction, I'm not saying that it can't happen, but your immediate reaction should be go, bullshit. Nope. Absolutely. I need to be way more convinced than just general platitudes. Because it just isn't a thing. It isn't a thing that can be broadly applied. And again, we get that lesson taught to us every year. And still we'll fall for it in some way. And I say we, the royal we. I'm not singling anyone out. Not excluding anyone. Just all of us. Even though some of us don't do it and some of us do. All right. We're inclusive show. Let's talk Warriors. Because the foreseeable future came. And that meant that Willie Dick was out of the starting lineup and Gary Payton was in. Quinton Post was also in with Draymond Green sitting out. Richard actually played more in the bench role, but obviously we're not rostering him. 9 points with 2 steals. While as for Payton, 10 points, 8 assists. Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. 2 threes for Gaz. Definitely not adding him. It becomes a deeper league stream guy. Curry was great. We also got 23 minutes from Bud Hield. 20 points, 4 assists. I am not buying it. I don't care. Yes, that is a very good game from old mate Bud Hield. But where is this role every night? The reason he got this role is because Brandon Pajemski played just 18 minutes. And you know what to do.
Get that garbage out of here!
You do not need to be rostering him. You don't also need to be rostering Moses Moody. Now, you do it when the schedule makes sense. 15 points is fine, but he shot 35%. He had 2 steals. He had 29 minutes. And he's not really close to being a must-roster guy. 16-team leagues, 200 deep, sure. 14-team, borderline. But 12, just a guy you put on and off of rosters. Jimmy Butler had 18, 6 and 7. Pretty good game for him overall. And now, after some fouls and timeouts, we can get on to the final game of the day. The Minnesota Timberwolves they choke away another game to the Sacramento Kings, 117-112. Is there a team that is the bigger meltdown merchants than what this Wolves team is? Bro, how did they lose this game? Anyway, let's talk about the Wolves side. And honestly, there's not really much to talk about from a fantasy point of view on this team. Goose, Anthony Edwards, was very good. He hasn't been, but he was very good here. 43, 7 and 4 with 3 steals, 55% shooting. We love that. Gobert played 41 minutes for 11 and 13. The big fella, Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert.
The double royal. Julius Randle had 17 and 10. Not an efficient night, and he has dropped off after that hot start, which was always expected. And we had 37 minutes from the big Ragu. 17 and 4 with 5 threes. But we did get way more Mike Conley than I thought. As for DiVincenzo, must roster. Conley played 25 minutes. He had 3 points. and 5 assists, but he did play a pretty significant chunk, and I believe he was in the starting lineup to begin overtime as well. Naz Reid battled some foul trouble, while McDaniels had a real poor game, 6 points on 30%. The minutes were still up for him. He was always going to drop as well, and it happened, and that's okay. The more interesting stuff, I think, is on the Sacramento side of this, and good for them getting a win. I still don't really understand what's going on with the lineups. Russell Westbrook, that's not him. Like, he's not a starting caliber player. He had 7, 6, and 7 with 2 steals and shot 27%. I think if you're in a category league, it's really hard to hold him. In a points league, I get it. I think at some point he needs to be phased down in his role. Whether they do it or not, I don't know. But it's making all these guards relatively ineffectual most of the time. Like, Schroeder had 9 assists in 24 minutes with 6 points. Whatever. I just don't think you can roster Schroeder either. And Levine is in a horrid slump. He feels like he just doesn't want to be there, and I understand it. And I'm glad that I faded him, but not for this reason like this. 7, 3, and 1. Like, there's got to be a bit of a buy low here, but that's really disappointing. DeRozan had a really good game. 33 points. Now, no rebounds and no threes is bad. But he had 4 assists and 2 steals. But just go look at his game log, right? We've seen him be very up and down this season. I don't trust him at all. I don't think that he's a drop yet, but I do think he'll get there. The big story, I guess, is Keegan Murray, who was excellent. 44 minutes, 26 and 15, 2 steals and a block. 53% shooting. So, a couple of things happened for Keegan here. With Sabonis out, he is getting more usage. With Sabonis out, he is being more efficient. And with Sabonis out, he is playing more minutes. So he did the thing. Now, it is very easy to talk about Murray, who many people like, as like, well, of course he's going to do this. And maybe he is. But I'm not ready to say that Murray's a 20-plus usage guy who hits 53% of his shots. That would be unrealistic. For now, yeah, you roster him. And then we see where it goes. A lot of minutes here, a lot of efficiency, and a lot more usage than he normally gets, which is all great. I have some skepticism about if the team allows that to be the case. The other change we got here is not the starting center, because that was still Drew Eubanks. He played 2 points in 13 minutes. But instead of going to Maxime Reynaud as the major backup, who played 40 minutes, they went small. The big sneeze, Precious Achiuwa, who had 10 and 7 with a steal and a block and played 34 minutes. I know a lot of you will go, 34 minutes, we've got to go and add Achiuwa. I honestly do not think so. There's no guarantee, A, that he starts, B, that he plays 34 minutes, and 10 and 7 with a steal and a block in 34 minutes isn't actually that good anyway. Like, it's okay. And if you knew that he was doing that every single game, you'd be like, okay, like, I get it. But if that's like a best case, and that's not that good. So I'm not grabbing Achiuwa outside of deeper formats. This was an alignment they haven't really gone to with him at center. It's been more Reynaud and Eubanks. And again, I just don't believe in Precious Achiuwa as a player. I've seen him play for years, and he is bad. And he'll have a couple of moments where he looks okay. But overall, it's not reliable. So I'm just not going to bite on a game like this. Now, you can get ahead of it if you want. I'm not going to blame you for it because, again, 34 minutes as a backup center who probably should start, you might think probably should start, is enticing. I'm not fully there. I'm not fully there on that one. Let's do some lines of the night. The monstrous line of the night. The best performance of the day. We're going to Karl Anthony Towns in New York. 37 and 12 with 2 blocks for Townsy. He was great. The waiver wire line of the night. The best player who is underrepresented on fantasy rosters at the moment. We're going to go with the depressed penis Saddiq Bey. 20 and 14 with 2 steals and with Herb Jones out. Bey looks like he's got a chance to start for at least this week, and that might be useful enough to stream. Your young gun of the night, it has to be Superman. He was great. 20 and 18 for Kel'el Ware with 3 blocks. He looks awesome. Jury is still out on what happens when players return, but for now, you love it. And if you can cash in for a top 40 player, you do it. And the dud of the night, the worst performing high-rostered player has got to be Nick Claxton. 8 and 4 with an assist. Poor efficiency. His numbers have been a bit down. And you hope you can get it back. And I hope, well, I don't hope because I know, that is the end of the show. Go. It was great being here with you. It was great chatting about Monday's games. We'll be back tomorrow with a show based on guys who are going to regress, a preview for Wednesday, as well as a recap of Tuesday's action, as we always do. Thumb it up, double bang. Hit the comments. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya. Maybe. Where is it? I forgot to hit the button. Let's try it again. See ya.